Good morning. It's 10:02 a.m. on Tuesday, February 6th, 2024. Call this meeting of the Wichita County Commissioners Court to order. If everyone would please rise, Commissioner Watts will give our invocation.
And Judge, I have a special guest here today, and I wanted to say a couple of things about him. Louise has been with me and worked with me for the last 35, 40 years, all across multiple endeavors. I don't know of a better guy, smarter guy, a hard-working guy. Louise was born in California, and at 3 years old went to Mexico, stayed on a ranch with his dad until he was 34 years old, and then came back to this country. So Louise didn't get the opportunity to ever go to any school, but to say that, I say I don't know. Smarter fella and a harder worker fella. So I just appreciate it. And Louise, if you'll come up and give our prayer today. He comes from a long line of good Christian men. And you know, the book of James tells us that the prayers of a righteous man are powerful and effective. And I believe that in Louise today. So Louise, arriba aquí, please.
Damas y caballeros, en esta mañana he sido invitado por el señor Jeff Watts para orar con ustedes. Yo como ministro del Señor, en la carta del apóstol Pablo a Timoteo, en el segundo capítulo, verso 1 y 2, dice que nos enseña que oremos con rogativas, con peticiones, por todos los hombres, por los gobernantes, para que todos vivamos quieta y sosegadamente. Ustedes lo pueden leer ahí en la primera carta de Timoteo, capítulo 2, verso 1 y 2, cómo el Señor quiere que hagamos rogativas peticiones. Y yo vengo en esta mañana con ese honor a presentarme delante de ustedes para unirnos en esa oración, para que Dios les dé a todos y cada uno el entendimiento y la sabiduría para gobernar este pueblo que Dios los ha puesto como ministros a cada uno en su lugar. Así como se la dio al rey Salomón, quizás algunos de ustedes lo han oído. Y de igual manera yo me dirijo al Señor en esta hora, en este momento. En el nombre de tu Hijo Jesús, Señor y Padre, Hijo y Espíritu Santo, yo te pido en esta hora, en este momento, que la gracia y el amor de tu Hijo Jesús venga sobre cada hombre, sobre cada mujer en esta hora, en este momento, Señor, porque es un pueblo, Señor, oh Padre, que está a tu servicio, Señor, oh Padre, es un pueblo que dirige a este pueblo, Señor, oh Padre, dales ese entendimiento y esa sabiduría como se la diste a Salomón, Señor, a través del poder de tu Santo Espíritu. Derrama, Señor, oh Padre, el entendimiento y el conocimiento a cada hombre, a cada mujer, para que ejerzan, Señor, oh Padre, ese trabajo que tú les has puesto en su mano, Padre, en el nombre de tu Hijo Jesús, ya que tú, Padre, has elegido a cada uno de los que están aquí, Señor. Yo te pido, yo te ruego, te suplico que tu Santo Espíritu, Señor, sea con cada hombre, con cada mujer en esta mañana, Señor, y que ellos puedan sentir tu gloria, que ellos puedan sentir tu presencia, Señor, que ellos puedan ser esos ministros que tú quieres para esta ciudad, Señor, oh Padre. Úngelos con ese poder maravilloso que no podemos ver, pero podemos sentir que es el poder de tu Espíritu, Señor, en cada persona, en cada puesto que tú has puesto a estos gobernantes, Señor, Padre. Sea tu Espíritu quien los dirija, Señor, oh Padre, por obra y gracia tuya, Señor. Yo te lo pido en ese nombre santo y maravilloso de tu Hijo Jesús, Señor. Quédate con ellos, Señor y Padre. Gracias porque me has permitido participar con ellos en esta necesidad, en esta petición, Padre, en el nombre de tu Hijo Jesús. Que tu Espíritu sea con ellos. Gracias, Señor y Padre, por haberme oído. Yo sé que me has oído. Amén.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Louise. And if you didn't know, Louise is Pentecostal.
All right, everyone, you may. Oh, sorry. I was so affected by that, I forgot normal order here. Please join us for the pledge to the U.S. flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now the pledge to the Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
All right, everyone, you may be seated.
If somebody could translate that to me and send it to me, I'd appreciate it.
I actually understood more than what I thought.
Judge Louise was an employee for us. He had a little bit of back trouble towards just in the last couple of years, but he worked for the county for 3 years or 4.
I'll take the prayers of the righteous man in any language.
Absolutely.
Man.
All right, so at this time, I'd like to ask Katrina Mitchell to come up for a presentation of certificates to the members of the Master Gardeners who have achieved various milestones.
So thank you for having us up here today.
Hey, you're good.
Having us up here. I don't know what I'm doing. So the Wichita County Master Gardeners have been in a part of Texas A&M AgriLife Extension for many, many years. We have some that have been members for over 20 years now. So that is a long time to be a committed club member to an organization, no matter what organization it is. So these Master Gardeners, they go out and they help educate our community. They can be found at the farmers market. They do plant swap, seed giveaways, teaching people how to plant, grow their own foods, flowers. They help answer questions that come into the extension office. They help with community gardens, different projects across the county. They help Heather Simpson, our Better Livings for Texans agent, with our Learn, Grow, Eat, Go programs and community gardens across the county. They help me when I need help with 4-H programs like the Home and Garden Show coming up. We do strawberry plant giveaways, and so they help with that. They are our experts on that because I am not a plant person at all. So they are a great wealth of knowledge in our community. So we do want to honor a few of those, and there are several here today that represent the group as a whole, but there are 2 or 3 that did over 100 hours of volunteer work this year at various events across the county, and then the 4 that have been members for 20 years or more. So that is quite a big achievement. So we do have some certificates for them.
Let's do this, if you would. We'll just have folks come up who are being awarded certificates today, so we can do a picture, and
Okay.
we'll just read out who's getting and for what.
Okay. Georgia and Maria, Jeff, and Mary. And then the other 2 are here.
And they always volunteer to sign us up for CEUs at the Farm and Ranch Show and many other things where we need help.
Exactly. We are
Good
offering
volunteers.
one day of CEUs at the Farm and Ranch Show.
Yeah, you're welcome.
We're getting help with Justin Hansard from Monte County and Bill Holcomb from Clay County, and then Bachelor, our regional planning leader, is helping get all those CEU and speakers and stuff. So we will have one day of 5 free CEUs, or not free, there is a charge, but CEUs for farmers and ranchers at the Farm and Ranch Show. So,
Katrina, if you'll hand out the last each person.
Georgia, for 100 hours of volunteer work. Marie, another 100 hours. And then Jeff and Mary have both been Master Gardeners for over 20 years.
Wow.
20 years or more.
Congratulations. Well, I know this entire body appreciates the volunteer work, the amount of time and resources and energy y'all put into the Master Gardeners program. Hopefully we'll soon get a new agent in place here in Wichita County so that we can grow the organization again and move forward. Yes, no, I know. So that's a little out of our hands, but hopefully we'll get somebody in soon that can move that
We
forward.
need to keep that prayer going up.
Yeah, that's right.
And then the put-offs and the doors are also in attendance today, and they have been long time, very active and supportive members as well. So they do an excellent job keeping things
There's a
going.
farmer's market every week.
Yes. I
What
know
a
that's
good group.
appreciated by those who go to the farmer's market. So, good stuff.
Well, one more time, thank y'all very much.
And there are better food facilities for extension on the horizon, so
Yes.
moving in that direction.
One of the members of
They're
the club
coming.
has Wichita Falls Irises. Do you know who that is? Because I've got a place for them at the courthouse.
Georgia, do you know who has irises?
Wichita Falls Irises, the Wichita Falls variety.
Yes, I do. Pearl Carter has a few. She's giving me some, Mary Rose.
Because
Mary.
I've got a place for
Right,
them
isn't it
now.
Mary Rose that has the Wichita Falls?
I'm not sure. I know Pearl does.
Yeah, Pearl does, but Mary does, I think it was her grandfather or someone.
Created them.
I forgot.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, so you need some?
Yes, I do.
I
At the
think
courthouse.
if Katrina will can
Yeah.
connect y'all
Thank
and
you.
Mark
Thank
after
you.
the court is over.
No, I just wanted to,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
We'll talk it. We'll talk.
Always do business.
Would expect nothing less from our master gardeners. They do a great job. Thank you all.
Mine haven't multiplied much yet, but.
All right, at this time, I'd like to ask Sheriff Duke, Chief Rutledge to come up. We will be honoring Scott Chappell for 25 years of service to Wichita County and Thomas Pena for 20 years of service to Wichita County. So, morning, gentlemen. I learned a long time ago that you don't let the sheriff go last when speaking in public. You go after him. So I'm gonna let him talk first, and then I'll go after him.
First off, these two gentlemen have been here, how many years, do you know?
March 8th will be 20 years.
Last month was 25 years. And I remember Scott first came out, out of jail, and it was quite entertaining to watch him come through the whole field training as a deputy sheriff. Thank you, Sheriff, for your speech. One of the other details, but I will say he is a true American patriot. I will guarantee, I promise you that, some things he does for the office, and we appreciate that. Tell us a little bit, Scott, about your career path, how you got here.
I'm surprised that I got here. Definitely have to thank the sheriff for putting up with me for all these years. Out of respect for the sheriff, though, I promised him I wouldn't make any political bad jokes about Joe Biden and the Democratic Party, so this is going to be really short. Again, I just thank the good Lord that I made it this far in today's world and the stuff that we have to put up with, and my job with the civil office. In fact, I was supposed to be out front doing the tax sale today, but be here taking care of this. Just thank you to everybody. Thank you to my wife who was not able to make it here today, and especially the big guy upstairs. And no, I didn't mean Woody Gossam. I mean Jesus. Me and Woody went at it all the time. So we always picked on each other. So unfortunately, who's the new? You're the new guy.
The tall guy, the tall guy. We just gotta go to the tall guy.
I'm
He doesn't get too far from his job. He stays focused when he does. Scott's been in civil division how many years now?
How long have you been in office?
15 years. Well, about 16.
As sheriff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about it.
A lot of people
I
don't
came
realize,
in shortly after you.
a lot of people don't realize, everybody thinks that the deputies on the streets with our NASCAR vehicles and all the guns and grenades, all the things, the toys we have to stop bad guys. The jail is the number one liability to Wichita County, period, hands down, 100%. The second liability is civil process. If it's not delivered properly and the paperwork done right through the state laws, we could be sued by different attorneys from all over the freaking place, you can imagine. But it's, our civil division is just rolls like smooth water, and they do a great job. A lot of people don't understand, it's not just doing tax sales in the front of the courthouse, they're also having to do paperwork when they're having to foreclose on properties or to, not so much evict people.
Seize kids,
Seize the children, protective orders. Things that are very dangerous for law enforcement because of the climate of the family or the attitude of the person that's not going to see their kid anymore. So, and they do a great job. Thomas, you got to tell us, but you have speech made up, I think.
I don't think so.
I will say this is about the second time in my time, how long you lived in the county?
March 8th will be 20 years.
Second time I've seen about a ball cap one. I didn't know you had hair. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Yep, I worked in the jail for the first 16 years of my career. In the last 4 years, I've been working for the sheriff's work program. And we moved furniture, and everybody seen me working around the courthouse. building things, tearing stuff up. And, I didn't know if I was gonna make 20 years. I told my wife, I said, I'll work when I got hired on. I said, I'll stay 1 year and we'll see how it goes. And 20 years later, I'm still here.
Thomas is one of those guys that is so dependable, we don't have to tell him to do something, he does it. He just has his daily things he does with his inmates, and it's just nonstop. He's always working. There's no, like, where's Thomas today, those kind of things. And whenever he put him for the position for the inmate work program on the supervisor of the inmate work crew, one of the things we always do is look at the employee's disciplinary file, see what kind of problems they've had, these kind of things. Imagine that we have people who works in the jailhouse, they have some problems, and on the street as well sometimes. He didn't have any kind of write-ups, nothing at all, and that's phenomenal, unbelievable, but it's true. That shows the character of the man and the kind of work he does and his ethic coming to work in Wichita County. He's one of the hidden jewels of Wichita County through the sheriff's office that people don't get to understand, see what he does, because they see the uniforms and the patches that just says sheriff, they think everybody can do it, their deputy sheriff doesn't know what to do. But what he's done for the county, that's him and the other two individuals that's in the inmate work crew program that takes the inmates out in community service, do work for nonprofits, and I can't tell you how many hundreds and hundreds of thousands of hours probably for Wichita County in the courthouse doing things within the courthouse and the county buildings. Chief, got anything to add to it?
Thomas and his crew probably saved the county tens of thousands of dollars and stuff they did with the LEC, floors, paint,
And here too.
stuff.
Here in the courthouse too.
This is an ungodly amount of money he saved the county with his work crew and his ethics.
He's saved more money, I think, than anybody in the courts, or the judge, or anybody in the department heads could be able to save money and turn money back in. The money that this man has saved, and there were other guys as well, is unbelievable. I wish we had total that, we should never thought that, keep track of that. Maybe I'll ever do that, go back and.
Spare time.
You guys, congratulations for your service, and I know we got.
Yeah, well, the only thing I just will add real quick, told you I'd go
You
last. The only thing I would add is that, law enforcement, sheriff's office is by far our biggest single budget item. And that's for a reason. Good law enforcement, it's the backbone. You get it right, you set everything else in place to go well. If it's not going right, it's hard to make anything else work. But it doesn't matter how many resources or great vehicles or a great building or anything that we put into place. If you don't have good people willing to wear the badge and step up and do the work, it all falls apart really quickly. And so I think it's just an example of good people who've been willing to put in the time and be here a long time to serve. And it's a small token, but we do want to recognize those milestones. And so we do that with the certificate of appreciation, and then also a little gift for y'all. It's just a token of our appreciation. So I'll actually let you, if you want to.
And Scott, for Thomas, I'm not gonna read all this, but of course, 20 years of service, started with the jail, and being in the jail, having a jail person be here for 20 years, that's like 690 years in dog life. When you get somebody there, they're invested and they're good employees, they're not problems. We can talk all day long about how many people we have to get rid of because of silly things that they do, unbelievable nowadays with people, but Thomas has never been a problem like that. Thomas, once again, appreciate your service. Thank you for everything you do for us. Scotty? Appreciate your patriotism toward our country, obviously.
Amen.
And some of the displays that you've donated to the county, although some of them end up causing some controversy around the courthouse.
Yeah.
Chimpanzee was not a monkey, it was a chimpanzee. And so,
We'll talk about monkey game later.
and so, appreciate everything, and you get to talk now about what you want to talk about.
Again, I just want to say thank y'all, and if you haven't been to the law enforcement center, what he's referring to is the stuff I put in there in front of the sheriff's office, his actual office inside the facility. When you go in there, there's a big wooden flag that's on the wall. Now, I did not make that. Doug Hardman made that for me, but that's my quote that's on there. And on this wood flag, it clearly states on there, "This is who we are. This is why we do what we do." And then we have a copy of the Constitution, the amendments, and the Declaration of Independence underneath it. And that tells you 100%. We do this for y'all. We do this. We are the last line of defense for y'all. We are what's standing between you and the bad guys. And a lot of people don't see that. They see us as in the way. But as soon as we move out of the way, they're the ones yelling and screaming, help, help, help. So all these people that are yelling, defund, 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 they don't realize that they're now standing at the front of the line going, oh boy, get it back here, and because crime has escalated. But if you get a chance to come to LEC, come see it. It's just some stuff I threw together, and there's some Texas stuff that I'm honoring Texas on. And if you get a chance to see my office, you'll understand exactly what he's saying with all the Trump memorabilia in there. So. Yeah, 2024. But yeah, if you get a chance to come by and see that stuff. And then in the back of the building, there's this giant rock that I had commissioned that's got the sheriff's star on it that was donated to the sheriff's department. And then there's an eagle on a stump that's beside it with the phrase underneath it, home of the brave, because that is exactly what you have in that office, with the detention officers, with all the stuff that they have to put up with, all the patrol guys that they got to put up with, my office in civil, all the stuff that we have to put up with, I'm sure all the stuff that the sheriff's got to put up with also. It is home of the brave. We put up with a lot that people just don't know, and they just think we're standing around not doing anything, but that's not true. So.
Well, we thank y'all for your service and your time, and glad we got the chance to recognize the development. Nancy's gonna come around and take a picture, and then.
Does this come with a pay raise?
You'll have to take that up with
while I'm here,
Y'all tighten up a little bit so Nan can get you.
yeah.
Pretend you like each other.
Okay, thank you.
Thank y'all very much. And now at this time, I'd like to invite Judge Kennedy to come up, and Christy Hale. We're going to honor her as the Wichita County Employee of the Month, 2024.
Got some tough acts to follow.
Yeah. Like I said, we're honoring Christy as our Wichita County Employee of the Month, one of 540 some odd people to get the award. No. What I meant was, we had 540 employees, and she was the one who was selected. Well, now that I've done that, I'll get it over. Just a few words.
I'm nominating Christy because she's the happy face that people walk into in our office. Everybody always says there's laughter on our end of the hallway, and so that's what I wanted in my office. I wanted people to feel comfortable when they come in, and they see her instead of me. So that's a great that's a great way to make people feel comfortable. To tell you, she's heard this story, but when I got the notification that she was going to be an Employee of the Month, I was in my second week on the bench in the Daniel Ortiz child torture case, and Christy was in Mexico on vacation. So I texted her and said, guess what, you're Employee of the Month. And she said, no way. Did you nominate me? And I said, of course I did. I said, you deserve it. Not so much this week. But she works incredibly hard. She absolutely knows how intense I can be, and we have a lot of fun, and she brings that fun to the office. So I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, Christy, you want to say anything? You don't have to.
No, I'm good.
We'll never have a nomination for anyone again if we make them say something. On behalf of the Commissioner's Court and the entire county, Christy, thank you for the work you do. I'll second that you're always a smiling face, and heck, even when you pick up the phone, I can tell you're smiling. I do appreciate the job you do, and just a small token of our appreciation. I wanted to give you this plaque to commemorate the appreciation. Cool.
Thank you.
You know, Judge, so many of the people that work for Wichita County have a tremendous impact, and Christy and her family certainly do that in our community. We've watched their kids grow up, and it's just neat to see people that do a great job at the office, but also are great for the community they live in. Thank you, Christy.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we're not doing that on this one.
Right.
Wow, what a morning. Y'all ready to just adjourn? All right, at this time, it is 10:26. I'll open up for public comment. As a reminder, we ask that comments be limited to 5 minutes or less, and Commissioners Court cannot take action on any item brought up during this time. Do we have any public comments this morning? Well, I have one. Van, will you stand up for a second? So many of y'all know Van Dotson, long time, over 30 years with Wichita Falls Police Department. Van will be retiring here shortly, and city's loss is our gain. I've hired Van to be my chief of staff starting on February 20th. So he's a much friendlier disposition than I am, so for a lot of y'all, you get to deal with a much friendlier guy than me. But I'm truly excited. This, as commissioners know, this has been a position I've been looking for quite some time. Just wanted to find the right fit, right skill set to slot in well, and support the vision that I know all of us have and that I have of we're here to help support and make good things happen, so that people who work, live, and play in Wichita County can succeed. And I've used the saying a lot. We are the offensive linemen of government. No one sees us except when we miss a block and when we mess up. But if we're not there doing our job in any sphere, not just the Commissioner's Court, but any sphere of county government, the whole thing falls apart and people can't succeed and do well. And so I think Van, his demeanor, his experience, his skill set will all be great in furthering that mission. And so just got to get through the next 2 weeks, and so it's officially started and on board. So I just wanted to introduce him to everybody.
Thank you, Judge.
Yep.
Ben, one piece of advice, forget everything you ever learned at the city, because it's all different here.
Yep. That's right.
You'll enjoy it, Van, you will.
We're gonna expect Willie Wall's historical perspective to still be in place. What did we do in '64?
Yeah. Well, my parents weren't born yet then, Barry.
Yeah,
so,
okay. All right. Yeah.
All right. Do we have any other public comments this morning? Going once, going twice. All right. It is 10:29. Public comment is closed. So then, at this time, we will move on to the consent agenda. We went 2 weeks in a row without me having to make a change. We couldn't do it 3. So I've got one change to make on consent agenda item number 2. I'll just read it so that you can know what I'm changing. Motion to approve Body Works invoice number 141-27149 in the amount of $8,695.87 for repairs to precinct number 2, 2016 Chevrolet 3500 HD Silverado, VIN 5874, with a reimbursement from TAC insurance of $4,340.21 and this is the change, $4,355.66 and then take out deductible paid from Fund 222 2023 budget from lines determined by the county auditor, and then scratching out the and approve a reimbursement to TAC of $644.34 for overpayment. We had Commissioner Watts had gotten with me on this. We talked to TAC yesterday. Their assessed value of what the damages would cost to repair were higher than what we actually ended up getting the repairs done for. And so TAC told us we don't expect a reimbursement when y'all do a good job of finding a less expensive way to get the repairs done. So,
and I told Margaret, good job for catching it to begin with. So,
well, that was a good body shop that was taking care of us. We put an aftermarket. We saved the money for putting a big aftermarket bumper on it instead of the factory. Just save money.
okay. There any objection to making those changes to that item?
None.
Okay.
Motion to approve with changes.
I have a comment number 5. Verify that.
Yes, sir.
That was for the lights in the infirmary. Back in July of '23, we actually approved $26,000 for those lights, and they were able to use the lights that were there and return the stuff. So that had already been approved for $26,000, but they only billed us for $6,000. So
savings.
And then, go ahead.
I've got a couple of things, Judge,
Okay.
on the Holt truck application on item 4. They will become the new international repair shop, or kind of the grandfathered, as they have made a deal with Rush to purchase that international aspect away. And we do have some internationals that flow in there. That limit is set at 20, and I guess we could modify it if we see that that's not working, but just keep that in mind as y'all do go across them. And then on item 7, those are 20-foot boxes. They should read 20-foot boxes that are 30 cubic yards. And so they will actually be the same size as what you have on your yard today.
Yeah, this 30-foot.
Yep.
That's gonna be a much more functional deal than what we're doing.
Should save us money.
Yeah.
On the number 9, Jeff, is that going to Purple Wave or something?
That is Purple Wave, and we're waiting, Mick, that we may have to turn around, and we're planning on taking pictures of yours too. We just don't know that that's gonna be the absolute best.
way.
So he's coming Wednesday to do that. We'll need to surplus that the following Tuesday, but it's probably 45 days out before they sell.
And I guess just as a public service announcement on item 10 for establishing locations for early voting, there is a bit of a change from what everyone had gotten used to. And so just want to point that out. We'll be sending out information to news media like we always do, and it'll be posted on the website. But Home Depot is no longer an early voting location. And a new one that's come in is the Martin Luther King Center will be open for early voting. And I think everyone will be happy. Sykes Center Mall has expanded their operations. We're expanding our operations at Sykes Center Mall to have twice as many folks working, twice as many machines available to use. So hopefully we'll be able to move more people in and out of there quicker and more efficiently.
There was real positive comments on that location and enhanced location yesterday at the testing of the voting machines.
And I would like to commend Robin Fincannon and the whole elections team. There's a lot of work that goes into securing locations on election day and early voting. They rolled with the punches and found us a new location and figured out a way to keep things moving forward and getting better. So,
one thing to add on that, Home Depot was Wichita County's #1 biggest spot, so we need to really get the word out that the mall is going to take all that overflow, because if we can get those people to move over there, I think it'll be huge, but it'll take the media and the word of mouth to get it out there.
Yep.
Restate my motion.
Okay, so got a motion by Commissioner
Second.
Beecham, seconded by Commissioner Fincannon to approve the consent agenda as amended. Do we have any other questions, comments on the motion or any of the items on the consent agenda? All right, the motion is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. All right, let's do general business. Item number 1 is a public hearing on the proposed Wichita County Property Assessed Clean Energy PACE Program Report Amendment. A PDF version of the program report is available on Wichita County's website. This is a public hearing. It's 10:36, and we will start the public hearing on this. And I will ask Lee to come up and provide us an overview of the program and allow us the chance to ask some questions, and then we'll turn it over and let any member of the public who wants to speak do so.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioner. Lee McCormick with Lone Star PACE. Lone Star is the program administrator for the Wichita County Property Assessed Clean Energy Program, which was adopted back, I believe, in 2021.
That's right.
Here today with a couple items. The first is a update to the county's program report. But before I get into that, let me kind of refresh you on what exactly Property Assessed Clean Energy Financing is. Property Assessed Clean Energy Financing, or PACE, is a program that the state of Texas adopted statutes back in 2013 to encourage commercial, industrial, and multifamily property owners to upgrade their buildings or construct new buildings above code with high-efficiency improvements in them. High-efficiency HVAC, LED lighting, cool roofs, envelope insulation, anything that's going to save energy or water on that building, they wanted to encourage. But they didn't want to commit any taxpayer dollars to the program, so they wanted to bring private lenders in to finance these types of improvements without putting any burden or cost on the cities or counties where these projects are located. PACE does that by encouraging private lenders to make long-term, low-cost loans for those improvements that allow those utility bill savings from those upgrades, you know, higher efficiency HVAC, LED lighting, to completely offset or pretty much close to offset the cost of the financing. So it's kind of a, from a cash flow perspective, it's a zero cost to these property owners. In order to do that, they gave these lenders the ability to have a assessment placed on the property for the security for that loan. So from a lender's perspective, I now have a very secure loan. I know I'm going to get paid back either by this property owner, or in the event of default, the next person who purchases that property picks it up and pays those property taxes or that assessment going forward, as they would for an ad valorem tax. Because they have that security interest, they're making 20 to 30-year loans at very attractive interest rates versus a 7 to 8-year loan. So from a cash flow perspective, you have a longer loan, you have a lower debt service payment, which aligns with the utility bill savings, and hopefully it's a win-win for everybody. We came to the county back in 2021, which was one of the first counties that we adopted the program, and had a good set of documents. But since then, there's been some revisions. So what we have in front of you on the program report is a lot of cleanup work, little nitnoid stuff here and there. There are a couple items that are a little bit more substantial that I'll point out. In the project report itself, there's the project report, then there's the exhibits. The project report themselves, it's just one addition, just so we don't have to come back to you every time there's a little nitnoid that does allow us to do periodic updates to the program documents without coming back each time. What we will do is send it to the judge so he can send it to the county attorney, and basically they say, yeah, this is okay, you know, we don't see any problem with it. The project review for savings, the original documents had a, you know, post-operation or post-implementation of these improvements. You would basically have the property owner reporting their savings, which sounds great. It's like, oh, we basically say we're going to save $100,000. The problem is, you put those improvements in and then they change their behavior. We're going to run the AC at 67 versus 70, or other things like that. And on the front end, the energy calculations that are being done by at least two professional qualified independent third-party reviewers or engineering firms that are reviewing the numbers on the front end, saying if you went with equipment that meets code, here's what your baseline is going to be. If you go with the higher efficiency HVAC, here's what your savings is going to be. So we have two groups that are kind of confirming that on the front end, because we can't control the behavior on the back end. So we got rid of that because it was being problematic, and quite honestly, what we were getting back from the property owners was just junk. People were putting a lot of work together, we're sending spreadsheets, trying to make it all consistent, and in the end, it was just useless information anyways. Can't remember if there's anything else. Judge, I don't know if you had any questions on any updates.
I do a couple. So in number 5, or on page 5, what you talked about, that now periodic updates to the form documents, y'all could do those independently. You wouldn't have to come before court each time.
Correct. We would still have the county attorney review those just to make sure.
Okay. Can we add that language?
Absolutely.
That these updates shall be reported to the county judge as designee for, okay.
Absolutely.
And then you and I had talked about, we're gonna need to change on page 7. It does talk about authorizing municipality there. We'll need to change that to local government. Can you, as part of the overview here, explain so that, refresh the court, they probably can fully get this, but for the public and for me, the county's role of enforcement here and how that operates.
Right. So the county has, if we do our job, the county has very little administration regards to the program. We go out, we market the program, we basically let the property owners know it's available. We work with capital providers to make sure there's lenders that are willing to make these loans for these types of projects. And on the back end, if something goes wrong, if there's a property owner that is not able to pay his assessment payment and goes into default, and the lender says we want to go into foreclosure, we actually would work with the county's outside collection firm through the same process as an ad valorem tax that's in default. But we would notify the county tax assessor collector, we'd notify the judge and commissioner's court that, hey, this project has got a problem. It's going into foreclosure. Now, With the PACE assessment or PACE loan, the way it works is if there's, let's say there's a $5 million loan outstanding, but the property owner is only behind on $250,000 and that's what goes in foreclosure, it would still go through a normal foreclosure process, but the PACE lender only gets paid back his $250,000. He doesn't get paid back the remaining amount of the $5 million. That stays in the property. The next property owner basically assumes that, like an assumable loan. So we would work with the outside firm. We would not have any burden on the county's, any administration on the county, aside from us just notifying the county, make sure they're comfortable with us talking to the outside firm.
So the next property owner is going to assume that if it's on there.
Correct.
I'm curious, it appeared to me, and I may have been missing something, but one of the changes that was being suggested, I have it on page 25 and 26, but that's in the full document. It's gonna be in the owner contract, it's getting rid of the notice to purchasers of the property. Can you explain what that's doing
So
and why?
this is going to be on the real property tax records of the property. It's going to be, any title search is going to pop up immediately. It was one of those things where we put it in there and it sounds good, but the reality is that property owner is going to forget 3 or 4 years down the road that he's got to make this notification. So it was one of those ones, if you want to keep it in, we can. It's just one of those things, it was like, it sounded good, but from a practical perspective, it's just putting a requirement, and it kind of makes it look like the county is responsible for making sure that happens as well. And we don't want to basically put any type of obligation on the county that we don't have to.
Okay. And then there was also in the section on the lender contract, was removing some of the language around bankruptcy provisions, and then the county coming in and having to file a claim. And can you just explain where that's coming from?
I will freely admit that is something that our lawyers, or we use a very, very prominent, they basically said it's just corrective stuff. So I have to admit, I'm not a lawyer. It was something that said this is just cleanup work. The other thing in the lender contract that I want to point out as well, and I apologize, which this is probably, to me, is probably the most significant thing for the county, so I want to make sure you're aware of it. In the lender contract, under the indemnification section, very strong indemnification for the county in release. So it basically said, we don't have any obligation. The lenders had a issue, and it's legitimate. It's they basically said, hey, you know what? You can just, as a county, if the judge's brother-in-law is in default, the county can say we're not going to enforce it and then be indemnified. So they put, a sentence in there that says, notwithstanding all this indemnification, you still have to enforce the PACE lien. So that's probably the most significant thing in the whole contract.
Okay. You preempted my next question, so thank you.
Okay.
Have you seen one pushed all the way through, Lee, where they actually went to the courthouse steps and?
Great question. No. And I actually mentioned this to Judge Johnson. So what typically will happen in this situation is most of these transactions have a senior lender and a PACE loan on it, so they've got both of them. And so in the event of default, before it goes into foreclosure process, that senior lender, the banker, is going to step in and pay that $250,000 or whatever the back assessment is, so they can control any foreclosure process. The PACE lenders will not, I forget the official term, but they will not push a property into foreclosure if the senior lender is not in default. They basically work that out. So we have not seen any in Texas on the commercial PACE.
And just from the operations of the program itself, want to make sure I understood. Say entity X is wanting to get a PACE loan, and you said that they were getting financing on the amount of energy saved, or they're getting financing for the whole project, and the reporting was on the amount saved?
Just for the amount saved. So let's say $10 million project, and the components of that project, HVAC, LED lighting, things that are going to save water and energy are $2.5 million. So the PACE loan would just be the $2.5 million of that $10 million. The other $7.5 million would be a senior loan or equity.
Okay.
In today's environment, Lee, what is interest rate on a
On a PACE loan for a 20 to 30 year loan, it's 10-year treasury plus about 3%. So you're talking about 7.5% to 8% right now on a 20 to 30 year loan.
I see.
Competitive.
Okay. You have any questions for Mr. McCormick?
So it's not taking the county out of being notified, it's just we don't have to take it to court for every
That's
change.
correct, yes. And we'll make that change to make sure that is clear, that we've got a contract, or we've got an agreement being changed, and
And I'm assuming if they were to notify you that we're gonna need to make this change, then you could at that point said, we wanna take this to court. This is something we need to look at. It just doesn't have to go to court.
Right.
Is that the way I understand
And
it?
we can always come to court if there's any, if it's a big enough change and the judge has any concern, happy to come to court and discuss it.
So,
And Lee, on the change in the authorized representative section, so today we're gonna have to vote on an order to approve Panda, whether or not to authorize this. The changes that are in this as presented, would that still be happening in the future for another company who came forward, or would they just be interacting with y'all? Y'all would be notifying, and then the court might or might not have a place?
No, what we're talking about today does not affect the requirement that we bring projects in front of Commissioners Court.
Because that's in our service agreement with y'all.
Right.
Okay. And we're not touching that today.
so Company X gets a PACE loan and they default. Taxpayers are not out any funds as a result of that default.
There's
Let's just be clear.
there's no county or taxpayer,
Right.
well, aside from that property owner.
Yeah.
No other tax, this is an assessment on that specific property.
Sure.
Parcel.
Stays in the private
Yeah.
sector.
Never a
Correct.
burden putting
Never,
on
no,
any
that's,
other
that's
taxpayer.
what I want to be
Right.
very clear on, is that
And-
there's no burden to the taxpayers whatsoever.
Yeah, it's not a affiliated note of ours
Yeah.
in any shape, form, or fashion.
And along that line, even our original documents, in the lender contract, we make sure that there's no question on, in the event of default, if there is a foreclosure and they have ad valorem taxes out there in the PACE assessment, we have a priority of the ad valorem taxes over the PACE assessment in the sale of the property. So, some of the other partners don't have that. We basically say, county's doing this on behalf of these property owners. It should never be put at a administrative or financial burden. So we have that in the document specifically. It's basically, county gets paid first, and then whatever's left over goes to the PACE assessment.
So our collection firm would work it as a default on taxes,
Yes.
just like it would.
I am glad to say we've never had to go through the process, but yes, that's the way it's outlined in the program report.
Okay, all right.
That was a big part of the discussion when we first studied this back, however long was that?
21, yeah.
In 21, and that was one of the main discussion points.
No, that's how I
So
remember.
that
Just
doesn't
wanna
change,
make
really.
sure.
We're gonna continue
No,
to
that's all the
operate.
same.
Yeah.
And when PACE was established through legislation that allowed this activity, was there penalties placed in there so our third-party collecting group, how, as with ad valorem taxes, they assess a penalty that firm operates with, doesn't cost the county anything? How does this?
Same exact way.
Same way?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we worked on that section of the agreement, we worked with Gil Bragg at McCreary, one of the principals there. So we had Michelle French, who at the time was the president of the Tax Association, Tax Collector Tax Assessor Collector Association,
Right.
TACA. So we had two people who were very involved in that process, make sure we got that section right.
Good.
Any other questions for Mr. McCormick before we allow any member of the public who wants to address? Okay.
Thank you.
Hang tight.
Okay.
Do we have any member of the public who wishes to make a comment for, against, or neutral at this public hearing? Anyone, Nancy? Okay. Anything else you want to throw in there?
That's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
It is 10:50, and the public hearing is closed. All right, that takes us to item number 2, which is consider and/or take action to authorize the county judge to sign resolution amending the Wichita County PACE program.
So moved.
Second. Yeah, I think Nikki got me on that. Yeah.
All right, and again, we've got a few of those small changes we just discussed that I'll work with Leon before signing off on the resolution. But all right, we've got a motion by Commissioner Watts, seconded by Commissioner Fincannon to authorize the signature of the resolution. Do we have any questions or comments on the motion or the item? All right, the motion is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. The motion carries 5-0. Then item 3, consider and/or take action on an order with respect to Panda High Plains Hemp Gen LLC and/or one or more subsidiaries or affiliates property assessed clean energy project. This one The language of the order will need to just simply say, we are issuing an order authorizing a property assessed clean energy project for Panda High Plains Hempgen LLC.
So moved.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Watts, seconded by Commissioner Fincannon to authorize that order. Do we have any questions or comments on the motion or the item? All right, the motion is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
Lee, thank you very much.
Thank you. Lee, thanks, good to see you again.
Okay. Let's go to item number 4.
Are there any reimbursements in that? I didn't see you.
No, there's not.
Okay.
Item number 4, review and approve the regular bills for payment. Verify payroll taxes have been filed and order county treasurer to disperse payroll and/or bills within 72 hours via U.S. mail, FedEx, UPS, or electronically, unless directed otherwise, or may be picked up and ledgered in the treasurer's office.
So moved. Second.
We've got a motion by Commissioner Fincannon, seconded by Commissioner Beecham to approve. Do you have any questions or comments on this item or the motion? All right, the motion's before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 5-0. Item number 5, open and take action as necessary on bids for the sale of precinct number 3, 1972 Wisconsin Dozer Trailer.
We had one bid, Judge.
Nice truck. Now, this is where, Jeff, you like on, what is it, Wheel of Fortune, you're big money.
No whammies. Oh, wait,
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Well, that isn't exactly as big as
this is a bid from Brent Catlin for $100.01.
Well, he was playing his odds on that one.
And that,
Well,
as Commissioner Watts said, that is the only
I didn't
bid.
ask Melvin, but I wondered if we could get into, can you accept bids and they be in the negative?
Paying someone that's
Where we have to
removable,
pay.
Pay someone to haul it off.
I think that's called just surplus property at that point.
I think that bid is a good deal for both parties. As a matter of fact, I think that works.
All right, so we've got a motion by Commissioner Mahler
And
to
I'll
accept the
second it.
bid. Seconded by Commissioner Watts. Accepting the Catlin bid of $100.01.
Can I charge him storage on that?
Yeah,
Until he makes it?
All right, we've got a motion before us. Do we have any questions or comments on the motion or the item? All right, the motion is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 5-0. Item number 6, discuss, consider, and/or take action to approve Motorola quote 250-6420 for 2 body-worn cameras, including 3-year warranty, accessories, and 1-year license and support fee at a cost of $3,878 for precinct number 2 constable, to be paid from the Department 552 budget from lines determined by the county auditor. This was a item that Constable Burchett brought to myself and Commissioner Fincannon. We met with him. The quotes that he had been able to get back were, one of them was 30,000. One of them was like 10 or 11. Everyone agreed that seemed excessive, so we had him get with Chief McFerrin and then Lieutenant Wilson to see if we could just get them on to the current existing agreement that's in place with Motorola for their stuff. Really appreciate the work that all of them did to get this down to a reasonable level. This was not something that we put in the budget explicitly for that department. However, after thinking about it, it made sense that it should come from that department so that when we're going back and looking at budgets for review in the
Yeah.
future, we see where it came from and what that was, and if he ends up running over his budget because of this unforeseen, the court can take action as we need to in the future. So that's the story on that one.
And I have a question for Mickey on that, because I've noticed, and I didn't know how we circumvent it, but when you're wearing one of those, like, I noticed a bunch sometimes can get knocked off. Do we have a pocket that thing goes in that actually can't get knocked off their vest or something?
There's actually a place on the vest that's mounted, it's made to attach to a clip. There's a special place on your vest for it, so.
It
different
protects
ones
it in
have-
a scuffle?
Yeah, I mean, anything can be broke loose, I
Well,
mean,
yeah.
scuffle or not. I mean, if you're fighting with somebody, things happen. I mean, you can have the best toaster and you can still, somebody get your gun out, so no different than that camera.
Okay, I didn't know. I see that happen sometimes, and I figured there'd be like a zip-up pocket that it goes in and makes a hole for the
You can't put it
camera.
inside of a pocket.
It kinda
so-
snaps
But it
on
has
there.
a,
It
it
kinda
usually has a
snaps
place
into
there that,
place.
Vans wore one a lot more than me, but
The ones we used to wear, they had the clips on it that you can clip onto your uniform, but I think now they're going to really strong magnet-based backs.
Ah.
So, I mean, they're super strong. It would take a lot of pressure to knock those off.
Do we know what portion of that is the license and support fee? What is the annual cost on that?
they're,
So the cameras themselves are, I'll include the battery and the dock, so all of the actual hardware is $2,600
So
of
the
that
rest of
amount.
that would be license and,
License.
yeah.
The warranty's $900, but it's, again, that's 3 years, and then the license itself is $390 per year.
but adding it to the sheriff's department was much more economical way to do it.
Oh, yeah, cause you get, economies of scale.
I don't
It
know
makes
that.
sense to keep it
I'm
all
hearing
the-
around
keep 'em all the same
$700
throughout the
for
county
fee
anyway.
and the-
How does that
I'm
work,
just
Brendan,
curious.
for the backup? Do they just, when they pull up, does it automatically download to servers over there, or?
It happens a few different ways, but it will back up to their system.
Okay.
And I
Yeah,
complete-
they automatically, roll up, don't they, on the system? I was thinking, anyway.
And Brendan, I apologize, I completely forgot to mention, Brendan was also in the meeting and helped drive the train from where we started to where we ended, so thank you for that. Sorry that I forgot to mention that earlier.
We're gonna see the time where everybody's wearing a body camera.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I'm worried you're right, Commissioner.
I mean, yeah, good and bad. I mean, there's, both sides of that,
Yep.
but it sure looks like that's, but they do serve a purpose, there's no doubt.
Well, less of a purpose when you have fake video.
It's true,
Do what?
it's true.
Oh,
When you got the ability to doctor videos, it's
Oh,
less of
yeah,
a purpose,
well.
but that's a different issue. All right, so we've got a motion by Commissioner Beecham, seconded by Commissioner Fincannon to approve this Motorola quote at a cost of $3,878 for Precinct 2 Constable. Do we have any questions or comments on the motion or the item? All right, the motion's before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 5-0. Item number 7, discuss, consider, and/or take action to approve Warren Cat invoice number P2250901 in the amount of $256,709.72 for a D4 dozer, serial number J4A13666 for precinct number 4, with $100,000 paid from Fund 224 and the remainder paid with a lease from First Bank pending attorney review. You want to say anything about that, Commissioner? or-
No, it's same program as the maintainer from last week, and we we should receive a check, I think, within 3 days. I got notification yesterday from the sale of the previous one, so that can come in and settle out here quickly. So, but same program as what last week's was.
can I donate him $100?
That'll require a separate item.
Just help out a little bit.
And and I know that they're working on it. We're still waiting on First Bank to get us the
Yes.
agreement so that Melvin can review it. but for last week's and then for this one, probably do them at the same time.
You know, this just works along really kind of our plan to, under the current situation we're operating under with this runaway inflation, and I mean, that's what it is, it's what it has been. We have got to get this equipment under warranty. It's just a killer if you don't. We've already experienced some of that, and this is a move in that direction, and I think we're gonna see several more things go that way. It's a good deal for cash flow management. You can manage it over the next few years, but these repair deals on this heavy equipment, just out of sight, and they are a budget buster. So this is a move, I think, that we're gonna see this again, I think, coming up, so. Pretty good plan, it's a good way to manage around it.
All right, do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All right, we've got a motion by Commissioner Watts, seconded by Commissioner Mahler, to approve the Warren Cat invoice P2250901 in the amount of $256,709.72. And again, with $100,000 being paid from Fund 224 and the remainder paid with a lease from First Bank. All right, we've got, do we have any questions or comments on the motion or the item itself? All right, the motion is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 8, receive update on courthouse renovation, elevator projects, and county courthouse annexes. Commissioner Beecham?
We'll start with the annex. Asbestos abatement has started, thanks to Commissioner Fincannon finding a different contractor. We got them all set up yesterday.
And ahead of schedule. They're moving.
Yeah, they're moving quickly. Got the front hallway closed down for today only, so the tax office is only accessible from the back entrance in order to abate that hallway.
That should just be today, you
Just
said?
today, yeah. And then we'll move over into the bigger room tomorrow. So that's going quickly, which is great, so we're not behind schedule at all. Pretty much for the annex, here at the courthouse, we did find additional spalling in the hallway between the 30th and where the old lawyer's lounge was, once the ceiling was torn out. So
What was it, Mark?
spalling, the concrete spalling, so I've signed a change order this morning for like 3,600. That'll be on court to ratify,
What's that for? What is?
to put the plywood decking down the hallway as well.
Okay.
It's like we did in the courtroom where
Are you talking about the ceiling?
the T's were
Okay.
spalling, the concrete was coming off.
Collapse.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that once the ceiling tiles and everything were removed down the hallway, we discovered that it was
there too.
it was the same way in the hallway,
Okay.
but it's not over the lawyer's lounge area or anything else. So that's a change that y'all see on next Commissioner's Court. The 30th they're moving pretty quick. They're starting to deck out the ceiling now, so all the work in order to put the plywood back on the walls is taking place, so moving quickly. We'll go back to the annex briefly. Mailroom should be completed this week and ready to move in completely, so that's good, get that back up and operational. That's really about it.
No elevator updates?
No elevator updates.
Fire department was the annex on Friday to get somebody out of our elevator.
They were at the annex on Friday?
How does that
Well, I
work?
hadn't heard that one.
Yep, someone was trapped. The fire department had to come get him out Friday.
Well, do they have a special way to open that? or-
About lunchtime-ish, I guess. The
It
key.
wasn't
They have a
for
master
minors?
key.
They have a
No, it
key.
wasn't. They have a key.
I use the healthy program.
Lovely. I had
Do
not
we
heard
need to
that
put
one.
a chair in there so people have a chair?
Well, the fold out is big.
I'm telling you, we got the coin box, and if you get stuck, you get You get
You
the
get the-
contents of the
the-
coin
Yeah,
box.
everybody that rides it puts in a quarter and first one stuck gets the
Yeah,
pot.
that's it. That's it. More people would ride it.
Oh, goodness.
That's really all I have unless there's any questions.
Any questions on this item? Okay, there's no action on that item. I think that's it. All right, it is 11:07 and court is adjourned.